there is a conversation still to be had this morning with regards to a very important subject matter that, feeds to the MVP category, the Artist of the Year, the Most Valuable Player of the Year category as well. And this is across board to most international award schemes as well as the 3 music awards. Now, the conversation is on international relevance being the key to artists being a part of the Artist of the Year category. One of the very hidden, dark, unspoken of criteria is the artist having a certain international relevance, touring the world, playing shows. Even in that, what kind of shows are you associated with? What kind of shows are you playing? What kind of platforms are you on? And which collaborations? And even in the collaborations, are they local collaborations or international collaborations? The unspoken of criteria is that relevance that you get when you are out there. How we in the local community here perceive your
impact.
existence or your
your
impact globally. One artist that I think has suffered that in terms of first of voting and that perception on the relevance is King Promise. Hence the reason why he's been in the news, in the conversations, even during our Artiste of the Year conversations at the 3 Music Awards. So we are asking of this dark unspoken of relevance, which is usually a part of the criteria, but it's really not spoken about. That is the international relevance, a game changer for an artist being part of the Artiste of the Year. But let me get my pundits in-house, Lenny, Kojo, and Cyril, who have all been part of award schemes in times now and past. International relevance, key to an artist being a part of the category. Your take, should that be the case or not?
For as to whether that should be the case or not, that's not my decision to make. But I think that it contributes majorly to the appearance of an artist or the perception of an artist's impact, to the people. And it also depends on context, whether it's a local award scheme or it's an international award scheme. If you're looking at an international award scheme, there's so many factors that contribute to the perceived impact that an artist can have and what their chances are of clinching that Artist of the Year or the MVP title. If it's a local award scheme, there's also
can you differentiate what the international and the local awards schemes are? What do you mean by that?
For a local award scheme like maybe 3 Music Awards, it's a mix of the board and also fan opinion, fans voting, and then the board as well. And if you look at a scheme like maybe the Grammys, you have the Grammy Academy, the board, right, who are heavily influence.
Just to help you make your point, I want to read this extract real quickly so that it's for public consumption. Now, for Artiste of the Year at the 3 Music Awards, this is the criteria. It states that the most outstanding and dominant artist on the basis of popularity of his or her recording or their recordings and activities within the year under review, including performances and social engagements, with at least 1 video release of any of his or her or their recordings. Now, this is voted by the board, academy, and the public. Now, with no mention, specifically no mention of be it a local or foreign performance. It just said performance, or no mention of local or foreign impact. It says popularity. So I could be popular in Ghana, heavily popular in Ghana, and I should be able to be nominated for the category, and I should be able to win. Do you understand? So I'm just stating that for viewers to all to understand that this is the category definition of the most valuable player, the Artiste of the Year. So in making your point, we can factor that in there.
So I mean, taking into consideration what you've said, right? So when I say depends on context, whether it's a local award scheme or it's an international award scheme. For the local award scheme, where you have a mix of the academy or the board and then the fans also voting, a lot of things contribute. So it could be heavy rotation. You could be heavily popular. You could be very popular in Ghana. You could have a hit song in Ghana, and then definitely it warrants or it gives you, the platform. It makes it possible for you to actually clinch that MVP title. You could have heavy rotation on radio stations and the media. You could have heavy rotation recognition, people are familiar with your music, and that could contribute to or sway the fans towards voting.
I see you are speaking on safe grounds and general statements.
I cannot understand you because
I'm asking you a question.
You can't presume to know the basis
you are
for which
I'm not talking about assumptions of your opinion. I'm just asking you questions on your opinion.
No, you said I'm making safe statements, but
yes,
I don't think
I'm saying you get when I ask you the question again. I know you're saying when I say safe statements, you're saying that it is possible for you to get either A or either B if you do A or if you do B. But I like those assumptions, the if conversations. I mean, it's fine. But I'm trying to narrow you down for you to give me there is a problem, okay? There's a hidden problem where artists that have not gained that international perception, and I choose my words carefully, international perception, have not won the award before. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it is the ones that have been seen to have traveled out there, played shows, had their music consumed in the diaspora, with evidence and facts, either visual or we're seeing streaming numbers and stuff like that. Even that one cry, there's a bit of a question mark on there. Are the ones that seem to get the nod when it comes to winning the award. And remember, it's three ways: it's the academy, it's the board, and then the fans. Okay, and these three come together to choose the winner for the Artiste of the Year. So, in as much as I like your presumption, your if and the should they and this thing, I'm just trying to find out that. Do we have is there a challenge is it possible, I beg your pardon, for an artist with heavy local relevance to grab that award category when there's an artist on there that has got a heavy international perceived relevance?
Let's take 2023 for example. Black Sherif won our Artiste of the Year at the was it 3 Music Awards?
2024,
2023 or 2024?
No. Yeah, well...
Yeah, he won. And then that year, that was his breakout year. That was the year he broke out. That was also the year that he gained... The very year he broke out, he gained international recognition with co-signs from Burna Boy and the likes, right? And he won Artiste of the Year. He was heavily... He was very popular here, and he had also gained some traction on the international stage. And those things, a mix or a blend of those things contributed to him actually winning because he had the masses on his side, and he also had an international appeal. So international appeal versus local relevance.
I'm not shutting your answer down. No. I'm not saying that I disagree with your answer. Is it a key? And then if we say yes, it is a key. If we take out this key, does it affect heavily, and I choose the words carefully, heavily, the artist's chances of winning that category if the artist has got heavy local only rotation?
It can because
I don't know if you get the...
It can because when you look at when Ghanaian artists go international, it's news. It's news. Everybody.
Even that we need to now define what international Ghanaian artist is.
When they go beyond the borders of Ghana,
who will be your top three? With no manner, in no order. Who will be your top three Ghanaian international artists?
King Promise, Black Sherif, Stonebwoy.
Okay, I did not hear Amare, but it's fine.
No, because
I mean, I get you.
Amare is heavily international, but how many awards has she?
When I spoke about reintegration, they nearly cut my neck off.
How recognized?
I like that. You see, Jay, not the fight. Jay sometimes in the way.
Jay, how recognized is Amare? Besides 3 Music Awards, and then just I think the last TGMAs. How recognized has Amare been in award schemes in Ghana?
That's why she didn't perform.
Yes, she didn't.
That's why I spoke of. Oh no, Coach, I'm not disagreeing with you today on your white sheet. That's why I spoke of reintegration, and then Lenny chopped my head off that day when I was talking about that. There's an intentionality on her side to reintegrate into the system.
Still stand on that.
But we're saying
we can go back to that and even buttress the point.
She's not reintegrating. But I mean, your answer now clearly answers Tuesday or Monday or so when we had that conversation or last week about the reintegration. But your top 3 you mentioned, and I agree with you that in no order, it's just your choice,
because I'm talking about local relevance and international appeal, a mix of both.
It's what you define as your Ghanaian. And I like that. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Does that in any way redefine the overall criteria platform of this award scheme, what it is supposed to be, that it's a local award. It's supposed to reward our artists and their hard work locally. Should award schemes allow global impact to influence its criteria for a local audience?
I don't think that.
What do you guys think?
I don't think the award scheme allows, allows global impact. When you say allows, in what context are you using allows?
But we just said that. But we just said that
the academy, the board will make their decisions.
Yeah,
but the fans also have a decision.
Yeah, I'm just
to
saying.
make.
But the fans can also not be Ghanaian. So what I'm just saying is, a Nigerian can't vote for a Ghanaian award scheme.
Of course they
can. If the person has access to the voting platform.
Of course they can.
Because they don't check Ghana card or anything to vote, right? So yes, so fans are fans. But I'm just saying that award schemes over the years have opened up to allow, and which we just based on your point, that it can be a factor, have allowed your international impact to influence your presence in some categories, especially like Artist of the Year, which is not unspoken of. Because if you look at the trends of artists in there, if I mention the artists for you, you'll notice that all of them, one way or the other, have had a certain global impact. And that's what put them there.
So I think that's why he mentioned it's a blend of both.
No, I'm just saying that. So have our local award schemes, which was supposed to or is designed for local artists, and pardon me, because we haven't answered that question, so I'm just choosing my ears carefully on this one. Local artists making local impacts, okay, making impacts with our music here, which has now allowed a certain level of global impact to influence the criteria. Because bear in mind, we did not even mention international impact in the Artist of the Year, but there's an unspoken of perception that has been cancerous to the award schemes. So now, if you are going to be seen as an artist playing in that space as Artist of the Year, there's an unspoken of conversation that says that you must have had a certain, because we said performance.
But Jay, the only time I would agree with you is if local artists who are like very popular here are not nominated for the MVP or the Artist of the Year category. They are nominated along with other artists who have heavy local presence.
Then the next question
and international agreement.
Then I agree with you.
International
then
relevance.
The next question in agreement would be: do these artists that have got local presence, have they won the category?
That's what I'm saying. That if you say that they are ignored and they are not.
No, I didn't say they are ignored. I never said they are ignored.
No, I am making a point.
Yeah, but I never said. You said if I say.
No, I said if. I didn't say you said.
But I never said it in the first place.
I am making a point.
Because if you go and steal from the Bank of Ghana and
Jay, I think you should allow me to.
But you can't mention my name and say that if I say. But I never said it.
If as a hypothetical.
Exactly. It doesn't mean that you have.
Use Cyril's name, please. Use Cyril's name, I beg you. Use Cyril's name.
So we got.
If Cyril says, I beg you.
Mr. C, if you say that
I never said
that they have been ignored, and by being ignored, they have not been nominated for the category, then we can agree with Jay Foley's point. But the issue here is that they are nominated, they are recognized for the heavy. Jay, the winning doesn't depend on me or doesn't depend on the board or the academy. It's a combination of all three: the fans, the academy, the board.
Yeah, but they're all dependent on
exactly.
Yes.
So you can't presume to want to influence the perception of the fans.
You are making a justifiable point, and I'm arguing it out with you. So let us not let our arguments make it seem as though I don't want to talk or I don't know. You are making submissions, and in the submissions I'm asking questions.
But am I making salient points?
Yes, you are, and you are building a point, and you are asking questions. However, there are a few things we are jumping, and I'm saying that I just read to you the Artist of the Year category definition of the 3 music awards, and in that, in no mention did they put borders and barriers to performance and popularity. These are 2 keywords in there.
But it doesn't mean it can't have an impact.
I'm just saying that there were no borders to it. So neither you or I, so I'm in agreement with you, neither you or I can say that it's only for local relevance or international relevance. Now the question is that I'm asking you is that for an artist that has gained heavy local impact without any foreign or international impacts, and I don't want to mention them, but we've seen quite a number of artists that are very heavy in Ghana But out there, the only chances of shows they've performed that are international are still Ghanaian shows in the international markets. So there's a club in the UK that's doing something, they've gone to perform there. There's a party in the park in the US, they've gone to perform there. But those are just Ghanaian shows. I'm not making mentions of the Coachellas and Co that are international shows that you see the likes of Stoneboy and Co go and perform on. We've seen Black Hole on such shows. So I'm asking that, can a Ghanaian artist that has a very heavy local impact without any of these international impacts still carry the top award at the end of the day, when there are artists that have got international appeal and they've been on those international platforms? Now, if you say yes, or if you tell me no, then the question is that, have we then added a certain silent criteria on our own emotion? I don't know if you get what I'm saying, Cyril. Have we added a certain criteria that is not part of the category definition here, that influences our decision making? When you find a list of Black Gold, Mr. Drew, and this and this and that in the category, that people are choosing the winners based on that non-spoken of criteria in the category I'm talking about.
And
Do you get what I'm just saying?
I get what you're saying, and I think I've answered it, because I said it has. I have answered it.
Blend.
It's a blend, and it's unspoken, but it's there. That's why I said that when a Ghanaian breaks borders, it becomes news, and it is imprinted on the mind of the Ghanaian.
Answer.
It is imprinted on the mind of the Ghanaian fan. When he sees a category with names, he sees Blacko, he sees all those other people. He enjoys their music, but then he feels like Blacko has more impact because he's recognized on both fronts.
So you answered it, and I did not fight you. And based on your answer, I gave you a second question. So does it mean that we have added our music award platforms has now silently added
and that's
this
why
thing.
He said that
this thing
if you break
without
boundaries
it,
beyond Ghana,
so I'm just saying that if we have added
makes news.
if we have added it silently, is that wrongly informing who an ideal choice would have been? I was getting to a point. An ideal choice would have been. Because
it's not, no.
So I don't know if you get my question.
It's not wrongly informing what an ideal choice is, because if we are going to say what exactly determines who a successful artist is, right? If we are talking the numbers, the songs, the releases, the performances, the numbers at these shows, right? Their headline shows and all of that, it plays a role. Now, if you want to say that we are going to now state it that it's local and international, then we can skew it or scale it down to, if the person in the year under review hasn't played any international show, then we will not add them to it. But if you look at all of the people who always get into that category of Artist of the Year,
careful, I'll show you and I'll prove to you that no.
There's always the local relevance and then also appeal. A certain level of international relevance or
in every nominee.
Appeal. Most of the nominees for artists, most of the nominees for artists, so not all of the year, not all.
Yes, and usually the ones that are winning are the ones that have got a fine blend, and the ones that never make it are the ones that don't have that blend.
Let's look at it as it's not just the academy or the board that's deciding on which people are winning. There's fan base as well for people who are able to break boundaries beyond their countries of origin. They've broadened their fan base, is wider, and so if these votes also allow not for only local Ghanaians, votes only, you can also get on a website and vote. So that person also has an upper hand over somebody who is quote unquote local or hasn't broken boundaries yet. So that will also apply if you say that these people who have both international and local appeal are the ones who win over anybody else. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Almost.
Like this year, what don't you understand?
Oh, you are convincing me on an answer, but it hasn't hit 100%.
There's a typical example that, not using any, or maybe we can mention it, right? This year, Quu Smoke is in contention for Artist of the Year at TGMAs, right? People have argued, or there's a conversation that there's a possibility there's also a possibility that he can win Artist of the Year. Reason being, for those who know, week on week, Quu Smoke has a show outskirts of Accra, right?
In Ghana, but
in Ghana, but outskirts. We saw the numbers that he pulled when he did his maiden concerts at Good Park, right? Has any artist been able to pull on that scale as well? That's why I mentioned earlier that if you're looking at different factors, their shows, their performances, their music, their fan bases, the numbers that they are able to rake in, and then also if they've been able to give us a certain number of maybe songs and albums and all of that, or EPs in the year under review, I think everything adds up.
I can confidently tell you that if I'm a part of the board of the 3 music awards, I'll nominate Quu Smoke as Artiste of the Year. Now, the second question would be that, would you be surprised to find out that a Quu Smoke beats a King Promise to Artist of the Year? Before I get that answer to the question, let me hear from Cyril.
Hi.
Hello.
At last.
We don't have international awards in Ghana. That's where we start the conversation. What makes the award scheme international is the power of its accreditation to transcend different markets and open doors and elevate the artist into new markets. So it's a visa. If I want a Grammy, if I want a BET, if I want a Brit Award, if I want a Euro, it's a visa.
Yeah.
I could go into Asia and the Euros, a Brit Award means something.
Rubber stamps your credential.
Rubber is like a degree. It means something. We don't have any award scheme in Ghana that has that power. Beyond
to be recognized internationally, that's what you mean, okay.
So we have local awards that consider international impact of our artists. That's why
I'll say that statement again. We have
local awards that take into consideration the international impact of our local artists. That is why year on year, one of the scarcest things you'll see is that the international artist category, the international artists don't come.
You're making sense, and I like he's feeling the answer that the Igbo didn't feel, but I'll choke inside small.
Everybody nominates Davido, Benna, Wiz, blah. They don't show because they don't care, because you don't have the accreditation, because your award does not carry that international power. It's irrelevant internationally. But they'll go for the mobiles, they'll go for this, they'll go for the Afrimas, because those are international awards. So that's step 1. We don't have some.
Thank you.
Step 2, the international appeal of an artist presupposes that the artist has exhausted his impact or has grown to fill up the impact and the borders of Ghana to the point where there is a spillover effect, that he has exhausted what is locally available to him in terms of audience, platforms, and reach, and is now impacting non-traditional markets.
So exhausted?
When I say impacted,
they've covered all grounds, like basically.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And it's now affecting non-traditional markets.
You have my attention, I feel you.
Non-traditional markets, which we call international. And if you look at when L won Artist of the Year, I wasn't international anyway. I was standing right there.
Yeah.
I wasn't international anyway.
He's getting to where
social media at the time.
This guy is there. I just don't know why. Sometimes.
Social media at the.
But I use Quu Smoke as an example.
No. He's talking about winning. He said
my train of thought, the tickets they cost me. Enter before I leave.
Enter. No, enter. It makes sense.
Drive.
The impact of social media has also given us a false sense of international impact.
Relevance.
And international relevance. That's why our artists feel international appeal online, and then they go to a venue and you have to go and play in a gym. And even now you have to pray that people will come with $10.
Exactly.
Because online is not international. Right? Online is not a place. The physical geopolitics of the world do not apply when I pick up my phone. Or per Gangnam Style. I don't know where he's from. And I've never been there, and I'm probably never going to go there. But I'll probably put a few hundred streams on that song. Does that mean if Psy comes and is playing in Lashibi somewhere, I'm going to leave my life and go?
No.
I don't know. So that's not international impact. That's digital. That's social media. That's internet.
And that's not territorial in any way.
Not territorial because it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, listen to your senior. Yeah?
You understand?
Jay,
so that's what we have confused. That's what we have confused and have used to mislead our artists to think that internet is international. Now, a few artists, like you mentioned, Blacko, Promise, Stone, have actually made the effort to physically go into these geo spaces, these international spaces, try and establish a lifeline in these new markets.
So they've translated what is online into
real life. Those are anomalies, and I don't think we've even have more than 5.
Thank you.
Those are anomalies, and you cannot build a whole award scheme on that premise, because then nobody will win anything else at your awards. Now to the conversation and the big question, that have we wrongly categorized the artist of the...
So have we silently
put international in there? It's yes, we have, to the detriment of the Ghanaian artist. Because whatever Ghana Music Award, whether it's the 3 music awards, it's the Ghana Music Award. Whether it's Kojo Trip Music Award, it's a Ghana Music Award. Whatever award claims to be highlighting, promoting, celebrating, rewarding Ghanaian artists need not rely on international impact or relevance to celebrate people who have worked tirelessly and impacted and shown all sorts of wonderful track record within the country. Quu Smoke,
yeah,
it's a great contender for Artist of the Year.
Exactly.
But we've been caught up in King Promise and Stonebwoy.
Exactly, and the silent thing has kicked in.
And this year is not even King Promise and Stonebwoy, is King Promise and King Paluta. That has been the heavier conversation this year. It was last year that we had the whole King Promise Stonebwoy conversation.
You see, it's the same error we do with everything Ghanaian. We look for the validation outside.
The guy has finished it.
When is fashion?
So you make a
outside.
For you
when is this outside? When is this outside?
Is it?
Jay, so is it because I didn't say verbatim that is what the case is? Because I think that I made the same point. If we are going to...
Should Quu Smoke win Artist of the Year at TGMAs, it will come as no surprise.
I have a last question
at all, because he's put in the work and
I'd want to know if a Ghanaian artist has ever gone anywhere and had any doors open based on a local award scheme.
Like how maybe your first degree,
yes,
you go someplace and then they say, wow. No,
but I don't think the Ghanaian artists even waive the local awards that they win as much. They don't even wave those flags higher or as much, because these are artists that they know they've been nominated, they know they're in the categories, and they don't even show up.
I asked the question because in the same vein that we 3 Music, we've invited or we've nominated David Obena, and they never come.
Because they don't show up.
The same way TGMA, for as long as I've been watching
they don't acknowledge its relevance.
Everybody from Yvonne Jaga to Wine, that nobody comes, should tell you that your award lacks the critical ingredient to make it internationally recognized and internationally palatable. People should be tuning into the award from Spain, Marrakesh, Tanzania.
Then we know you
have an international. The way we stay up to watch BET, Brits,
the headies.
If they are staying up to watch 3 Music Awards in Cairo, because Davido is coming, Tyler is coming. That's an international award.
But
we'll be wrapping up, guys.
Don't you think that in all of this as well, marketing and promo of whatever award scheme play a role?
It's not just.
Don't forget.
The bottom line is that the bottom line is that the purpose of every award is to give it's a meritocracy.
Yeah.
The purpose of the award is to establish a hierarchy and celebrate people based on merit. And if I reward you and give you something representative of your merit, and that thing does not lead you anywhere, it's a dead end, then it's a meaningless thing, excuse me to say. Because the reason why you would reward my merit and make it impactful for me is that this should be a sign that when I put it on any table on the planet, people should know what I'm worth. It's like a football league. If I send Kotoko play here and you go and you say you want Foley Electronics Premier League, and you go to Spain that I won the Foley Electronics
that's why people
one of them
prefix their names with Grammy Award winning artists.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in our next conversation, our time is up, but it's a very interesting convo that we are having. But in our next conversation, then we should now look at how we can now rebrand these local award
for those who
schemes to still get that whether it's a corporate Ghana conversation, whether it's the set designer the conversation, whether it's the consumer's conversation, we have to look at who bears the biggest responsibility.
Culture Daily was brought to you by Telecel.